Well, Zaven Collins is the newest member of the Arizona Cardinals. Could he be the next Brian Urlacher? With the top cornerbacks and wide receivers already off the board, the Arizona Cardinals stood pat at number 16 and selected Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. Now, many Arizona Cardinals fans were disappointed with this pick. Part of that disappointment had to do with the fact that many Cardinals fans had hoped they would have drafted a cornerback, or hoped that they would have traded back to pick up some additional draft capital since their top players were off the board. But part of the disappointment also has to do with the fact that many fans don't feel like the Cardinals have a great track record with linebackers lately. This includes the Cardinals playing Hassan Reddick out of position for most of his time in Arizona, and concerns about the way the Cardinals used Isaiah Simmons last year. In fact, there's a pattern of the Cardinals playing many of their first-round picks out of position, and in many cases, playing out of position contributed to those players not living up to their potential. So many fans are understandably uneasy with the idea of the Cardinals drafting yet another linebacker. And what makes it even more concerning for many fans is the fact that Collins is such a versatile player, with many wondering if he's going to be a pass rusher or an inside linebacker, or if they're just going to move him all over the place. Many fans wonder if he's going to be another one of those long line of players who struggle because they're played out of position. But fret not, Cardinals fans, it's not all doom and gloom. Collins could end up being a really great player for the Cardinals. In fact, some have compared him to a poor man's Brian Urlacher. So is he the next Brian Urlacher? Well, of course, that's a really high bar to set, and it's really impossible to know at this point. But there are some aspects of his game and his physical profile that are comparable to Urlacher. So let's start by looking at some of the things that Collins does really well that are comparable to the way that Urlacher played the game. Now, the first thing people talk about with Collins is his freakish size and length. At 6'5", 259 pounds, Collins has rare size for the position. But despite the fact that he's a larger linebacker, he's actually excellent in coverage. He plays more like a smaller linebacker than a at rushing the passer. PFF graded him at a 90.6 at pass rushing in college. So with his outstanding ability to rush the passer, play strong in coverage, and use his size and length and explosiveness to his advantage, Collins is a versatile chess piece who's going to allow the Cardinals to show a lot of different fronts on defense. And on top of all that, scouts have raved about his football IQ and his character. So Collins' combination of size and a versatile skill set is what's drawn comparisons to Brian Urlacher. Urlacher was outstanding in coverage, intercepting 22 passes over his career. And he was also excellent rushing the passer for an inside linebacker, accumulating 41.5 sacks throughout his career. So it's understandable why some might compare Collins to Urlacher. However, if we look a little bit deeper at the measurables, we're going to see that Urlacher still has some advantages over Collins. Now, they both came out of smaller college programs, and they're both about 6'4", 6'5", around 260 pounds. Collins does have a little bit of an advantage in arm length, but Urlacher had better times in the 40-yard dash and the 20-yard shuttle, and he also outperformed Collins in the bench press. Collins did edge him a little bit in the vertical jump, and their broad jumps were about the same. Now, each of these drills tells you something different about what the player brings to the table. Collins has the advantage on height and length barely, but Urlacher is clearly faster and better with change of direction based on the 40-yard dash and the 20-yard shuttle. And he's also much stronger with the 27 bench press reps. But the vertical jump and the broad jump are often associated with explosiveness and burst. And in these two areas, Collins seems to measure equally as well, if not a little bit better. But if we're looking for a comparison in terms of the measurables, a better comp for Collins is actually linebacker Anthony Barr from Minnesota. Collins and Barr are similar in terms of height and weight and length, as well as 40-yard dash times. Barr does have an advantage on the 20-yard shuttle, but they're comparable in bench press reps, vertical jump, with Barr having a little bit of an advantage on broad jump. So at least in terms of physical characteristics, Anthony Barr is probably a better comparison. It is important to remember, however, that those measurables don't tell the whole story. Things like anticipation, ability to read what an offense is doing, mental processing and reaction time are all things that can make up for differences in speed and change of direction. So is Zaven Collins the next Brian Urlacher? Probably not. But I do think he's going to be an outstanding linebacker, And despite the fact that the Cardinals don't have the greatest track record with linebackers in recent years, I think he's actually going to end up being a leader on this defense and a solid player for years to come. And when you pair him with Isaiah Simmons, who is also a freakish athlete with high IQ and character, don't be surprised if in a few years we look at the Arizona Cardinals as having one of the best linebacking cores in the league. So what do you think about the pick? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, please be sure to click like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more Arizona Cardinals content. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Cardinal Rule.